The multi-year Lloyd4U project has had broad impacts on traffic across the city of Evansville. Here to give us an update on that progress is Nicole Minton. Nicole, thank you so much for being here again.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely great to have you back. Let's start with parts of the project that have already been completed. Can you I'm thinking of the Stockwell intersection. Any other areas that have been completed, or just touch on where we're at right now?
Yeah, that was a big milestone, having that intersection opened up with the improvements, and we were really excited for people to be able to enjoy the fruits of all of the patience that they had to endure in dealing with the construction there. So to have that kind of hybrid intersection open, and for people to be able to get a feel for that displaced left turning movement and the boulevard left turn, we're really glad that people were able to enjoy that now.
I know recently, probably within the last 2-3 weeks, maybe even a little bit longer, work has begun there at Burkhart Road and the Lloyd Expressway. You hear about it all the time, Nicole. People frustrated. It's always a traffic jam, particularly at those high volume traffic hours. Rush hour. What is your message for folks that are traveling through that corridor right now? What is the timeline on that? Particularly asking about that Burkhart and Lloyd intersection.
Yeah. So until November, we're going to have some turning movements that are going to be restricted there at the intersection. And we all know that with the high volume that is, we have at that intersection, we need to do something to improve it. Unfortunately, when you try and do that something, it creates headaches for people who are trying to work through that construction zone and make their daily commute through there. So my best suggestion is to sign up for text and email updates so that you're aware of when the changes are going to be happening. Anytime you can travel off-peak, I just went through there in a matter of minutes. Not a problem at all when you're not dealing with the peak travel times. Especially if you're just driving through the intersection, when you're trying to make those left-hand turns to get to Burkhart or to the Lloyd, they stack up. They take a little bit longer. We have a little less capacity in the turn lanes. So, thinking of unique ways to get to where you want to go is also a helpful strategy too.
I'm curious what sections of the Lloyd, I just mentioned Burkhart. What other sections, though, are currently being worked on across the Lloyd corridor?
Yeah, so we've got Burkhart and Cross Point right there near each other. There's no good way to do those projects separately, just with the lane closures and the maintenance of traffic. It makes sense to pair those two together. And then we have the projects on the west side. So moving from around Barker all the way to the Posey County line, that area is all being improved at the same time. We're working on what are the westbound lanes right now, constructing all of those, replacing all of the pavement on those westbound lanes. And then eventually, once those improvements are all done, we'll move traffic over to those newly, paved westbound lanes and start construction on the east side. So altogether, we're looking at 2028 before we're wrapped up. But good news is the schedule is holding. Everything is on schedule and working as planned. So we're really hopeful that 2028 is within reach.
And that's just what I was going to ask you about, the being on schedule. So that's some really optimistic news. Does any work get done, as when things get frozen? I'm thinking of winter. I mean, is there any other logistical work that you all are still doing, though, perhaps as we enter some cooler months ahead?
Yeah, so there are some things. For instance, the bridges that are being built, we have new added capacity on the west side. So the T-Couple Bridge, the Train Bridge, Carpenter Creek, those have a type of wall construction that can be done even when it's cold. Now, when the plants shut down and we aren't able to repave things, that does change the kind of work, but there's still lots of work that can be done in those colder months when we typically don't see as much road construction.
What's your message for folks at home who just keep saying enough is enough with the construction, Nicole? What is your parting message to them?
Yeah, I just ask that people, exhibit some patience and understand that there's no good way to improve the Lloyd without creating some headaches. And it's frustrating when you feel like, man, there are a lot of projects going on in Evansville right now. But boy, are we fortunate that, that we have the kind of investments in our community that are creating this kind of construction. And when those orange barrels move out, it's going to be a really nice to have better efficiency, better safety on all of these corridors.
Nicole Minton, thanks so much. Always great to see you. We appreciate your updates on the Lloyd4U, and I know you will be back for another update shortly.
Me too. Thank you.
Thanks.